Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hola, bonjour, comment t'appelles-tu? We go through this routine every week, don't we? For any new listeners, because there has been some new listeners, welcome to Reboot Your Thoughts podcast. For any recurring listeners, welcome and hello and welcome back to Reboot Your Thoughts podcast. So, for anyone that is a new listener that doesn't know me, because I just thought I would do a wee "this is me" at the start of this one, because I have noticed quite a few new listeners recently. New countries. I am Aileen. As you can tell by my dulcet tones, I am from Glasgow, Scotland. I'm getting old. I'm getting too close to 50. I wish I was only getting close to 40. I'm getting closer to 50 than what I would like. A lot faster than I would like, because as we know, as you get older, the days just go in faster, quicker. They're quicker than, what's his name, Usain Bolt, running 100 metres. So I am a single mother of 2 sons. I have my own business. I have multiple podcasts. I did have multiple businesses, but I had to close one because of health reasons. So now I have this podcast, and I also have a Reboot Your Business, which is getting a bit of a... We're restarting it again, because a few things within the family and life and health took over, and we've not focused on that one as much as this one. So that's getting a whole new reboot. Probably not until round about June, maybe July. We'll see. We'll just play that one by ear. I don't want to give any definite dates at the minute. I also have a therapy business where I offer counselling and coaching. So coaching in the sense of business coaching, wellness coaching and life coaching. Counselling can be for any age, any gender, on your own, as a couple, as a family, child, adolescent, elderly, whatever may be. Everybody's included. We do have some holistic therapies, but at the minute we're not focusing on them as much, again because of my health. So we're more focusing on the counselling and the coaching, which can be done in person, it can be done over the phone, and it can be done via video call. So that's kind of really about it for me. I'm not the most interesting person at the minute. Maybe if you spoke to me 20 years ago, you might have thought, how's she still alive? And to be honest with you, even to this day, I don't know the answer to that question. I have experienced life, let's just say that. I have had my own mental health battles for over 30 years, well, about 30 years. Over 30 years? Not sure. Depends who you speak to. Some people will say over, I'll say about. Which is why I started my therapy business, and then hence why I started this, and then the coaching and blah, blah, blah. Because the counsellor did come in before the coaching. And I think really I don't know that you would want to know anything else about me, because I don't know if there's anything that interesting. There's my daughter sings. Oh dearie me, I feel like both my sons pee at this minute, because every time the door goes, it's a parcel for them. I feel very left out. I feel like the only thing I get is bills. I don't like, and this is the thing, isn't it, about getting older. That's all you ever get is bills. Don't get me wrong, everything that came for them they had to buy themselves. But well, they did buy themselves. They didn't have to, but they did. So anyway, let's get down to business. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I was just doing a wee introduction about me and where I am and whatever else, and I try and make goals for the future and have dreams and ambitions and different things that I'm trying to aim for still. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still do that. That's amazing, because life would be boring if you had nothing to look forward to or nothing to aim for. And I just try and, in this podcast, all we try and do is give a bit of advice, tell some stories, talk about life in general, and try and have a wee bit of a laugh at the same time. Now, when I say we have a wee bit of a laugh, it's normally at my expense, because it's normally a silly story about me from the past, which there is very many of, which friends and family will tell you. I keep everybody entertained, I guess, unknowingly, or Just don't even realise I'm doing it half the time. And the biggest point is I'm blonde. I'm very blonde, and my personality is blonde. So there's not really much choice for me to be any other colour apart from hair colour. I mean by that, apart from blonde. We've tried other colours, and we had to go back to blonde. So yeah, that's that. Oh, and I got all my hair chopped off yesterday. I mean, never got all it chopped off, but I got about 5 inches off it. And yeah, we're trying to get used to being short again. It's a short bob basically, but we're getting used to it again because we've had long hair for a long time. But I mean, this doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. I had short hair before I had long hair, but everybody's got short hair before. This is what I mean by me being blonde. But for a long time I kept my hair quite short-ish. It was always a bob, but then in recent years I've had it longer. You'll get to understand the way my brain thinks and works the more you listen to these podcasts, and eventually you'll get on the same wavelength as my brain. And listen, enjoy the ride, that's all I've got to say. Oh, there's something crashing, banging and walloping in my son's room, but we'll just leave him to it. So we missed an episode last week. We're going to try and make it up this week, and I'll explain why. Yous will know, or some of yous may know, if yous have listened to previous episodes over the last few weeks, I've had man flu. Yes, said man flu, even though I'm female, because if it's as bad as what they say it is, that's what I had. It wasn't just a cold. It was man flu. Because apparently that's the worst thing ever in the world, isn't it? I mean, it's worse than childbirth. It's worse than the cold, the flu. I mean, at this point, it's just, you'd be near enough dying if you had it. And that's the way I felt. So that must be what I had. But then it went into my chest. It's still in my chest at the minute. I've also had a migraine for 3 days. We're falling to pieces. I'd sing you a song, but I can't remember what song's in my head, and I can't remember the tune yet. I can remember the tune, I can't remember the words. One of the two. We're having a very big blonde moment today. Anyway, let's talk about what the subject, what the topic is today. Social media and all these different things. Social media, online dating, keeping yourself safe, keeping your kids safe, online gaming could be another thing. Basically just keeping yourself safe online, and there's a few things that I want to talk about in particular that I've noticed is getting worse potentially online at the minute, and it's it's a hard watch. It is a hard watch, and if you're on certain social media sites, you'll get it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I suppose depending on your way of thinking, you may disagree with what I'm going to say, and that's absolutely fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions. And if you are one of the people that I'm potentially going to highlight, I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because we're here to protect people, we're here to look after people, but it could be that you maybe don't even realise what you're doing either. So let's just roll with it, right? Social media has a lot of pros, it has a lot of positives, but it also has a lot of cons, a lot of negatives. And when I say cons, I mean actual cons, not just the negatives, the other word to describe negativity. I mean con artists, whatever, anything that begins with a con. So personally, I have a few social media pages. I'm on a few social media sites, should I say. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I do have X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. Don't particularly use it that much. I also have, is it called Blue Butterfly, Bluebird, Blue something? But I literally set that up, and then I never really done anything with it. I've never used it. I have Patreon for my business pages. So I have Patreon for this page, and I have Patreon for the therapy page. I've not set it up for the other podcast. That may be something I do in the future, but I've got that many pages at the minute that I'm running to and fro that I forget half of them. So they kind of get left out, and then they look a bit quiet for a long time. Some people would say they wish that was my mouth, but unfortunately not. I talk a lot. I'm not only doing this to help people that are potentially vulnerable, I'm also doing it to help people that maybe don't see what could potentially go wrong with what's happening online at the minute, and just more to keep everybody safe and just make everybody aware, because it is a big bugbear for a lot of people. A lot of people are talking about, and a lot of people are seeing through things that are happening. And I know I'm being a bit cagey at the minute what I'm talking about, and I will get to the point in a second. So when it comes to social media, there's different ways to use it. So you can use social media personally, you can use it as a business, and when I say as a business, there's different types of businesses. It's not just people selling you a product. You also have the likes of me. It's not a physical product I'm selling, but it's a service. So you've got people that are selling a service. You've got people that are using it to give out information. You've got, in inverted commas, influencers. Not a big fan of that word, and I know a lot of the people that are in that industry aren't a big fan of that word either. But basically they're employed, well, they're self-employed, but they've taken on a job to, I suppose, influence you to invest in a product or whatever it may be that they're advertising for another company, and this is where they make their money. And as a business, it's no different from any other type of marketing. It's no different from any other type of advertising. It's just a new way of doing things in this era, because we do have social media and people can work online and different things and earn money different ways. And that can be beneficial for people who maybe can't do your normal 9-to-5 job. They maybe don't have any, they didn't care about education when they were at school or anything like that, so they maybe don't have qualifications, but that doesn't mean they're thick, that doesn't mean they shouldn't have a job, and that doesn't mean they can't have a job. And we all work to our strengths. So the likes of myself, you might be able to tell, I like to talk, hence why I've got multiple podcasts and potentially got another one coming. I also talk for a living. I like to talk, I like to advise, I like to help, I like to be a support network for somebody. That's just me. I just like helping people, I like talking to people, I like meeting new people. I'm interested in it all. If you were to ask me to go into a call centre, outbound calling, high sales, high targets, I would flop in a minute, because if somebody doesn't want something, I'm not going to force them into it. I'm not going to keep them on that phone until they then feel as if they have to say yes to me. That's not to say that somebody else doesn't enjoy that job, and I have worked in call centres, but I was inbound customer service because that was my niche. When I used to watch the ones that were outbound sales, I'd be like, oh, I don't know how you can do that. That's just not for me. And I remember being outbound sales once because customer service phones were down, and I was like, do not do that to me again, because that's at the minute somebody said no to me, I was like, that's fine, have a nice day, bye. Because if you don't want something, I'm not going to say you will take this, you're not getting off this phone until you're taking it. But anyway, and it's not to say when you do sell somebody something that later down the line they may realise that in actual fact, that was a good sale, that was a good product, I did need that and I didn't know it. But then we've got another side. So TikTok, Instagram are very much either for your personal life, or you've got your online influencers or your online creators and all these different things who they're not earning money from you. They're earning money from the site they're on, the social media site that they're on. Facebook will pay them per click. Instagram will pay, but don't get me wrong, you have to have so many followers and you have to have a certain type of page for this to happen. And you are, or should be, registered as a business. Whether it be you're a content creator, whether it be you're an inverted commas influencer, whether it be like myself, you're a therapist or whatever it may be. Now, I only earn my money from my clients on TikTok, sorry, not TikToks, Facebook and Instagram. Don't earn any money unless anybody books an appointment with me. And that's the way I like it. Okay? Then you've got X, which is very opinionated. And some people love it, some people hate it. I particularly have never got into X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's too fast paced for me. Too fast. So I could never get on board with it. So never really used it, to be fair. And again, only ever had it for my business pages. Never had it as a personal page. I think I tried it as a personal page and lasted less than a week and deleted it. Then we've got TikTok. TikTok is completely different in a sense that it's a bit like Instagram in the sense that you put up photos, you put up videos, you put up whatever. It's not so much. Although it's starting to add in wee bits where you could maybe just put a status, but it's still put up as a sort of photo type thing. Do you know the way Facebook, you can do a background when you type a status, you can do like a background. It's a bit more like that if you want to just put a sort of status type thing up. But again, like I said, more like a photo. But there's many sides to TikTok. Now, bearing in mind all these apps, if a child wants to go on the app, they need to be 13. I know the government are trying to change that. I don't necessarily agree in changing it because you are punishing what is potentially the innocent for the people that are doing wrong. So rather than putting out consequences for the people that are doing wrong, let's just take away from the innocent. Now, I don't agree with this. But also what I don't agree with is all the bullying. Now, bullying isn't necessarily it isn't just on, TikTok. It's on all platforms. But there's something on TikTok that really bugs me. And it's people think that when they turn on a camera, press that button that lets them go live, people should be throwing money at them. Now, this is where I get angry. I can go live on TikTok and I do go live on TikTok, but I tell everybody, do not send me any money, do not gift me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying people shouldn't be gifted. I'm not saying you can't gift, because I do gift people. But I gift maybe £1, £2 or whatever. But it's to people who are putting out content, so like singers, your comedians, people that are giving something back, or there's people who the money they earn, they give back to more vulnerable people. So maybe like the homeless, they'll go and buy food for the homeless, I'll give to them. And it's a bit, I don't know what just happened, but I've just recorded about 10 minutes and you haven't heard a single word yet. So I think where I got to, and I might be wrong, is if I was walking down the street, I would throw money in a bucket for somebody who was busking. If I thought they were talented, I thought they were good, I thought they deserved it. A charity, I'd maybe throw a couple of pounds in the bucket as well. So there's these differences, and I think this is where you need to kind of think about what you're doing, because if you would do that, then that's fine. But when you've got people that think they should be throwing hundreds and thousands of pounds for just shouting at a phone and doing nothing but argue with people online, that and that alone, almost, maybe not alone, but that is where it gets my back up. That is what annoys me is, and it's very much, now there's so many talented people on all these apps who are just trying to live in a world that they're happy, they're doing the job they want to do, i.e. singing, comedy, creating sketches, whatever it may be. And that might be the only way that they can do it. Plus, they might be a parent, and it might be the easiest way for them to earn some money is by doing that, because it's very expensive to pay for childcare. We need to remember that. But what I don't agree with is people that expect others who have worked hard each and every day to earn money to just give it to you for nothing, just because you think that you deserve it because you turned your camera on. And a lot of them don't even show their face. We'll just say that as well. we'll put that out there. A lot of them put a filter on so you don't see their face. But this arguing, and I notice it a lot more on TikTok. You'll hear me talk about TikTok, but I will go back and forth to the other platforms as well. On TikTok, there's a lot of arguing. Now, this isn't even the children arguing. This is grown adults all arguing with each other about things they know nothing about. They give out each other's addresses. They give out information about each other's kids, what school the kids go to, this, that, and the next thing. They pretend they're friends and record their phone calls. It's just vile. It is an absolute cesspit of the lowest of the low bullying behaviour, and I'm not here for it. Don't get me wrong, we're all nosy and we'll all watch it now and again, but they're not even the worst on these apps. On every single one of the apps, you've got trolling, you've got bullying, you've got hate. Every single app, you've got it. None of these apps are doing enough to rectify or to stop it. Again, in my opinion, I have spoke to an MP about it, and I will be trying to speak to another one about it because they didn't do enough. I don't actually think they've done anything, to be fair. I think, like a lot of MPs and a lot of councillors, I don't mean councillor as in my type of councillor, I mean councillor as an MP. They're very good with saying what you want to hear but never really follow through with what they're going to do. And remember, people, there's voting coming up in the UK. You've got your what they call local elections, so they're coming up tomorrow. Remember that when you're voting. This podcast isn't about voting, but it shouldn't take for an MP or whoever the powers that be in your country to actually do something about it. These people that are setting up these platforms should have something enforced, because it's not just, now it's bad enough that adults are being bullied and trolled, and some of them very much can't defend themselves because they maybe have whatever reason, they may have anxiety, they may have disabilities, they may have whatever, but also innocent children. I mean, not all child is innocent, not every child is innocent, some of them aren't as innocent. But none of us were innocent as children. None of us are perfect even as adults. But that doesn't give you the right to make somebody feel low enough where they may or may not take their own life. They may consider taking their own life. They may even lose their children because you've sent that many, that much wrong information about them, that people actually believe it. People go to social services, and that's not even an exaggeration. There's so many people, I'm not saying this is the reason why they've lost their children, but there's so many people that have been falsely accused to social services about things. There is police, the ambulance service, the fire service, their time's being wasted because you're phoning them, or these people are phoning them to somebody's house that don't even need that service. So you're wasting their time where somebody else who could be in a fire, taking a heart attack, being the victim of the most hideous crime, and they can't get the right services to them because you're wasting, or somebody's wasting their time by phoning 999 or 911 or whatever the number is in your country. Why? What kind of kick are you getting out of that? Because you're not just affecting that person that you dislike, you're affecting some innocent soul who cannot get that service. And you might think, but I'm only one person, I've only phoned once. You're not the only person that's phoning. There's loads of you doing it, and you can't say, well, tell them. I'm telling you all to stop. Mother hen has stepped in, I'm telling you all to stop. Just stop your nonsense. But that's the whole begging for money online and making yourself out to be this content creator, in inverted commas, influencer, but you're not, because you're not actually influencing anything. You're not actually creating any content. So these people that are not creating anything don't deserve your hard-earned money. Please remember that when you're going to gift. If you're going to gift, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and make sure you're not giving too much. Don't get yourself into debt. There's many poor souls out there they've been inboxed, they've been exchanging phone numbers and whatever else, and people have been promising them the world, and then they don't, and there's at least one person who's taken their own life. There's multiple people who have been imprisoned because of things they've done online, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's to do with money, but other things. There's predators online, and I don't just mean predators looking for children. There's predators looking for vulnerable adults that aren't vulnerable, but they'll make you vulnerable. They'll get into your head. They'll make out you're the friend, you're the best friend in the world, you're this or the next thing. I think what I'm trying to say is keep your wits about you online. Keep yourself safe. Keep your family safe. Keep the biggest part of your life private. Don't put too much online, especially if your page is unlocked. So my personal pages are all, apart from my TikTok, because I don't put anything personal as such on that. Advertise for other businesses on there, but that's the only page I do that. None of my business pages are locked off for obvious reasons, but on Instagram and on Facebook my personal pages are locked, and it's only people that I know personally that get in there. And even at that, I don't put anything too personal on, if that makes sense. I'm a very private person, to be fair, and both my boys are very private. I think they've learned that from me, that you don't have to give out too much information to people that don't know you. And I do think there's a lot still in the younger generations that they're not interested in social media anyway. They just can't. They just don't have any qualms about not having it. But yeah, but then we've got online dating. That's a whole other cesspit. Not everybody on it. Some people are genuinely on there to find love, and some people are genuinely on there to find companionship or whatever they're looking to find. But there is very many, and certain sites are worse than other again. And I don't want. It's not that I don't want to name sites. I can't name sites because I don't have any not full knowledge about individual sites. I tried online dating. Oh God, let's think back. It must be 15 plus years ago. What year are we on now? So the last time I would have used it would have been about 2012, but didn't even really use it at that point. So it would have been 2009, 2010 maybe. I dipped my toe in it, and I'm a very good judge of character, to be fair, and I can normally tell if somebody's trying to just say what you want to hear. But again, back then I was still very much in the midst of my mental health struggles, which meant to an extent I was vulnerable, so I could have believed, and I did believe, some people who I thought were genuine. I don't think it matters how good a judge of character you are or whatever, there's always going to be that one that slips through, isn't there? So a lot of them and you try and be honest. You be honest about what you're looking for, and then they just reiterate what you're saying, and it's not necessarily what they're looking for. So there was one particular person, and obviously I'm not going to name them and I'm not going to give too much information away, but he was very much determined he wanted a date with me and everything else, and there was just something I couldn't put my finger on. And then I realised they were very much Jekyll and Hyde, where one minute they were like, oh, babe this, babe that, babe the next thing, and really want to meet you, really want to go on a date, and then the next minute they were screaming down the phone at you because you couldn't meet up with them, or you didn't want to go on a date or whatever else, or whatever. This particular time I was ill. Again, I've always got chest infections. I had a chest infection. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat, and I could hardly talk. Didn't really have much of a voice, to be fair. And he's like, I took the day off to meet you. And I says, well, I didn't actually say I was going to meet you. You said that. I didn't. And then I got a whole load of threats for about 3 days. Now, bearing in mind, I don't give any information out. So this person only had my first name. They didn't have my second name. Didn't know where I lived. They knew roughly the area I lived, but they didn't know where I lived. They didn't have my address. And then a good few months later, it turned out my intuition was right, and they were imprisoned for a long time for something they'd done to another female, which I'm not going to get into because the female could be listening and although I'm not going to name anybody, it may trigger somebody if they've been in a similar situation, or it is that person. So yeah, you need to be very careful and don't give out too much information straight away. There is some sites that are apparently trying better when it comes to the online dating, but there's still some that don't do anything. So that particular site that I met that individual that I just spoke to you about on, I closed my account after that, and they always ask why you're closing, and I tried to report his account and everything else. Don't know if they ever done anything about his actual account, but they never ever came back and said, okay, we'll do better or whatever, or try to soften. They didn't try and soften the blow or anything like that. There was just nothing. And I thought, okay, that says a lot about you. You clearly, and I know a lot of people have bad experiences, not just online dating, but in-person dating. Very, very bad experiences in in-person dating. But online seems to be the way that people think they can hide. They've got a mask, and the mask is the computer or the phone, because you can't see what they look. You don't even know if they're giving you their correct details. You don't know if it's the correct name they're giving you, or where they live, or their height, or their age. Height and age, you can kind of justify that by like, okay, not everybody likes their height, not everybody wants to admit to their age. But I think what my whole point of this episode is, please be careful online, not just protecting your children, but protecting yourself, protecting your whole family, because people can find out, and there's lots of scams online as well, that it doesn't matter how clued up you are, you can still fall for a scam. Luckily, I never have any money in my bank or anything like that for anybody to have the need to scam me. The minute my money's in the bank, it goes straight out to a bill. But yeah, I think have your wits about you. Be careful who you're gifting if you do want to gift online. Be careful who you're befriending. Be careful how much information you're putting online, especially if your page is public. And just in general, be careful. If you're going to start having phone calls, make sure you fully trust the person, and just, again, don't give out too much information. Don't give away, because you need to have a bit of you for you. Does that make sense? There always needs to be a bit of something. And just always remember that not everybody's who they say they are. Not everybody's the kind soul they're making themselves out to be. Not everybody's the, in inverted commas, the protector, because that's where a lot of these ones that are arguing online are saying, oh, we're just trying to protect people. They're not. They just like an argument. They just like to argue with each other. And it's very sad. And they could have mental health problems. They could have something going on in their life and they're trying to deflect away from it. And that's fair enough, but you don't make somebody else's life miserable because you're feeling miserable. You go and ask for help at that point. If you know that you're not feeling like you, go and find out the reason why. Go and ask for some help. Go and speak to somebody, whether it be somebody you know or a professional. Go and speak to somebody. And get yourself back on the right track. Don't make somebody else vulnerable because you feel vulnerable. And I think that's kind of where we're going to leave that topic today, because we could go into it deeper, but again, we also don't want to trigger anybody on this podcast either. So I could give out much more details about what's going on online, but it may trigger people who are trying to go over a situation, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to trigger anybody. I'm here to try and help you all as much as I can. If anybody would like to discuss it further and ask for help or support, or how do you do X, Y, Z, whether it be report somebody or whether it be locking down your accounts or whatever else, you can send me a message. But yeah, that's it. My head is absolutely throbbing. I can't believe this migraine. Now I've been taking my migraine tablets since yesterday. I still not touched it. And I don't like that idea, because they're meant to work after one dose and I've took 3. So make that make sense. And I've slept quite a lot as well. So I decided to move my living room about. I've ended up black and blue because everything's so heavy. And when I first started moving, it took me 2 days to kind of finish it. But when I first started moving it, my oldest son came in from work and I had to shout, "Don't come in the living room." And he's like, "Why?" Just monotoned, "Why?" You could tell, you could feel the rage. And I said, "Oh, I'll tell you in 5 minutes." And he came in and he just said, "Oh, what are you doing?" So I'm moving the living room a bit. Now, bearing in mind, all my work stuff's in my living room, like my filing cabinets, my desk, my everything. We've got tellies, we've got clothes rails, we've got couches, coffee table. You'd think my living room was 3 times the size where it actually is, but I mean, it's a decent sized living room, but not for living, working and breathing in it. Hence why we're trying to find a new office. But yeah, so I had a new house. So that happened. Now, to be fair, after they seen the way I laid it out, they were like, "Alright, it actually does look okay." But before that, they were like, "There was no need for you to move anything." Don't listen. Just calm yourselves down. You're alright. I'll be fine. I just came up with these ideas sometimes, and you gotta roll with it. You gotta take your time. It may work out, it may not. I'm supposed to be taking a load of stuff up to the dump tonight, but the way I'm feeling, I'll be going nowhere. And yeah, I really just have no oomph in me this week. I mean, I've had no oomph in me for a long time, but definitely not get any oomph in me this week. Did I tell you the story about the donkeys? Right, here, I'm going to tell you anyway, just in case I never. So we've got a farm beside us. I've told you about the farm because there's sheep on it, and I'm scared of sheep, and we're always scared. I'm always terrified I'm going to wake up one day and there's sheep looking in my window because they tend to escape. And when they escape, I don't leave my house just in case they want to follow me, because I was chased by a sheep when I was 10, 8, 10, something like that. I don't know what age I was. And I've never got over that. I can still remember that sheep chasing me, my dad standing laughing. Anyway, so there's like few different fields on this farm, and there's one where a donkey's appeared, and I'm convinced it's Donkey for Shrek. So every time I drive past, I'm like, "Donkey, where are you, my friend?" My son laughs, but then tells me I'm not funny. Clearly I am, because you just laughed at me. And it disappeared for ages. Now, it just came through out the blue, that it wasn't there before. And then one day I said to my son, "Oh my God, I think I just seen a donkey there." And he's like, "Shut up, mum." And then when we were driving home, it wasn't there. And he's like, "I told you were lying." I was like, "I swear there was a donkey." And then for about 3 weeks, maybe more than that, after that, every time we drive past, this donkey wasn't there. We drove by the other day and it was there. And he seen it, he admitted to me he seen it, and now he's trying to say he never seen it. He's like, "I don't know what you're saying, I never seen a donkey." So I think me and the donkey should be friends. So I'm thinking I might, can I steal a donkey? I mean, where would I keep it? It'd be quite hard to hide a donkey, like, at the bottom of the hill for where I've stole it. So I want to befriend this donkey, but I still want pygmy goats. If anybody would like to tell me where I would keep a pygmy goat, if it was a pet, can I keep it in my house? Is it going to eat me? They're so cute, but they're so noisy. I think I might get an Asbo. Then, what else is happening? There's nothing really happening, to be fair. We're just waiting for the youngest to finish up college for the summer, and then we'll find out if he goes in after summer again, outdoor again. Yeah, again, it wasn't for me. It was more parcels for the children, adult children. What was I saying to you? So we're waiting for him to finish up college, and it'll be summer for a couple of months. Hopefully go back into college after summer. I'm just working, recording, hopefully get something new coming soon. And that's about it. Life isn't really lifing at the minute because I'm too busy focused on trying to get a house, trying to get a new office, trying to whatever, trying to build the businesses, that I've not really focused on a holiday or anything like that. So I'm thinking I did say I think I might want to do something in the UK, but I don't know. I don't know when, I don't know where, and I don't know how, and I don't know why. But maybe. I'm too scared to go abroad. Have you seen that they keep telling us they've not got enough fuel? I mean, if they keep putting the prices up of fuel, I'll not have enough fuel either to get myself A to B. I went to fill up my car with diesel. Was it 2-3 weeks ago? And I only ever really fill it up once a month, to be fair, and that doesn't me fill a full month. And it normally costs about somewhere between £60 and £70 to fill my tank. Fully fill my tank for like nothing to fill. £96 it cost me. I still can't go over that, and that was the cheapest place to get it from as well. So that would send you into a depression, never mind anything else. Sent my bank account into a depression. What else is happening? Nothing at all. My dad's going to Australia. Lucky for him. I'm not. I don't know if I could do that flight, mind you. It's a long flight, isn't it? But I'm just going to be me. But if anybody does want to book in for any counselling or coaching, you can find the details on therebootsanctuary.com, or you can email me, therebootsanctuary@gmail.com. If you would like to come on the podcast as a guest, if you would like me to tell a story for you, everything can be confidential regardless of whether I'm telling a story or you're telling a story. If you would like to sponsor or advertise on the podcast, then you can email rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com, or you can get me on any social media page. So you've got Reboot Sanctuary, and you've also got Reboot Your Thoughts Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And I think that's really all I have to tell you for today. I'm going to try and do another episode. I don't think I'll be recording it today because my head might explode, but I'll maybe try and do one tomorrow if the migraine's gone. If not, maybe Friday, but I'll try and get a second one out this week just to make up for the fact that we never done one last week. But for now, au revoir, gracias, and Wiedersehen. Also, if you've got any topics that you would like me to speak about, please write in and let me know. I do have a list, but I like your input as well. And if you are feeling a certain way, please ask for help or ask for advice. Even if you want to message me, ask me for advice, you don't have to book in. There's no because you message me you need to pay or anything like that. Not at all. And I hope you're all taking care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye.